Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and a Lego set, and most importantly, I'm here to hang out with you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently subscribed, you can apply with those emotes. Shout outs to Aristofan and Dirty, getting those in right away. Also, we got Mr. Hadel saying happy Thursday, Pat and Bear Cave. Well, thank you. Happy Thursday to you. And Lashbrook is here, and a faceless name saying Bear, Bear, Bear. Yes. If you don't have those emotes, you can just say hi. I want to thank everybody for being here. We already have a stellar crew of fun people in chat. And I'm very excited about that. We're going to be here in the intro portion for a minute or two, allow folks to kind of like come in fashionably late, arrive to the party on their own pace, and then we're going to work on finishing the Max D, this Lego monster truck. We got to put wheels on this thing. And Mr. Hadel just gifted a tier 1 sub to a faceless name. That is your third gifted sub, Mr. Hadel. So faceless name, welcome to it. Welcome to having a gift. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site emote in the chat. Also to say thank you to Mr. Hadel for gifting that sub. Thank you very much. And we are one step closer to the goal of 50 subscribers. Always like having 50 subscribers here. That just means that we'll definitely be getting a payout without any issue. It's also, I mentioned this last night talking about that. And one of the reasons why I hitting 50 instead of 40, because there are some people that said, like, well, isn't 40 like that? 40 is like the minimum of maybe getting a payout, but you have to take consideration, unfortunately, for affiliate streamers like myself and also regular old partner streamers. It's bad for me. It's good for you out there, but there are other countries now where they're dealing with local currency, which then has to be adjusted. It used to be it was adjusted on your side. Now it's adjusted on Twitch's side, which is great for consumers, but bad for some creators. Now, do I have a ton of international folks subscribed? No. Do I have a couple? Yes. Does it affect me? I think it does. I mean, look, I don't get a good breakdown. I don't get as much info as I would like, but I do use the info that I have been given to figure this out. Speaking of figuring this out, I would love to figure out how many people are there. Let me look in the actual chat because my dashboard is saying there are 3 viewers, and obviously there are more. Oh yeah, we're good. We got a few people here. Good, 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 good. We got a few folks in the chat, which is always nice. I knew you were here. It just wasn't reflected. That happens. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well out there. Tonight's plans. I've been doing this a little bit in my intros, which I've kind of enjoyed, was saying, here are things that I'm probably going to discuss. I will be discussing very briefly an update to the ongoings of Activision and Blizzard. I will be talking about a couple manga that I have been reading, some of which I've read a little bit, some I've read a lot of. I will be talking about the 2 games that I am most excited about that are coming out of the recent the Nintendo Indie Showcase, the Indie World Showcase. And I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, we'll chat a little bit about wrestling, probably. Not too much. Want to say a couple things. What I'm thinking about what's going on out there in the world of wrestling. Axiom Verge 2 has been so good. Oh, nice. Yeah. So I made my, oh wow, video games are coming out this week, huh? My indie purchase this week was Boyfriend Dungeon, which I am very early on in. We'll get into more of that in a second, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and tweet out my. I'm going to actually refresh this. Oh, no, it updated. Okay. Retweet my tweet, and then we'll get into building. Let's finish the. Hey, you know what? Let's finish this monster truck. How about that? The Monster Jam Max D. Monster Jam. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. It's Monster Jam time. Anyway, we got the Max D. Here's the Max D. This is the, not a lot left to do. We got to do the front here, the back. The most important thing, obviously, is the tires. And let's talk about the the Nintendo Indie thing. As I said, I got on Steam Boyfriend Dungeon, which I will be playing next Wednesday as my Wednesday stream. I haven't announced that out there, but was looking for something to play, and um, I watched some people play some of Lawnmower Simulator, and it didn't feel like a thing that I wanted to spend money on. It is on sale, but is also like $25, and it felt um, I felt, for me personally, that that was not $25 that I wanted to spend. I do like the simulator genre, but I was not sure if that was going to be something that I was going to be into. So I didn't end up picking that up, but I did pick up Boyfriend Dungeon because I played demos of that. I played many demos of Boyfriend Dungeon at various PAXs, and was like, yeah, this is a thing that I want to try out. I'm excited to play it. Where you have weapons that you can date, but not all the weapons. You can't date the cat weapon, which feels like a mistake, but sure, whatever. I mean, like I said, I'm not super into I'm not that deep into the game, so maybe it makes a lot of sense that you can't. Um, but yeah, so I got Boyfriend Dungeon. That's my big purchase this week. My big gaming purchase. So I'll be checking that out next Wednesday. But I should say the two games that really stood out to me at the Nindy thing. They don't call them ninjas anymore, but Nindy is just a good term. I like Nindies. Um, was Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. I have wish listed on Steam. I really want to play it because I really love Jet Set Radio. Now, when I played it, I knew it as Jet Grind Radio because they translated that. Boyfriend Dungeon is a modern update to the Heart Dungeon. Yes. That game. Yes, that game is so jet set it hurts. Yes, right down to the music in it, the vibe in it. It's the Lethal League people whose name I cannot remember because I am bad with developer names, but I do remember the games they work on. Anyway, this is it's very jet set. But yes, I knew it as Jet Grind. And then Future I enjoyed. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is such a good game name. It is. Lasper Lasper gives me the info that I needed, which is that it is Reptile Games. Yes, indeed, Reptile Games. But yes, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is very fun to say. And you can say Bomb Rush or you can say Cyberfunk, and I'll know what you're talking about. I'm going to cough again. Sorry. I got to get some water. My apologies. I just played a little bit of Lethal League Blaze last night off Game Pass. Only reason I know. Well, there you go. So there you go. But yeah, I really enjoyed the vibe of it. It's been as soon as the first trailer that I saw the first trailer of it, I was like, oh yeah. I want to get that game. So it was great to see more of it. All right, we need two of these. We need one of these, and we need two of these, and we'll learn how this goes. Goes in like this, and then this goes in like this. Get the back bumper on here. Okay, and the other game that I was super interested in might be surprising to some people because you've never heard me talk about this, but I really enjoyed Shovel Knight. I'm a Shovel Knight fan, and Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon looks cool because it's like a puzzle game, but with like Shovel Knight vibes, and that just seems neat and cute, and it's something that I would like to play. Um, so that is a thing that I am certainly interested in. Did I? Yes, I did this wrong. Like that. There we go. So then this goes like this. Yeah. Here. Come on. Get in there. Get in there. Why are you being awkward? Pull that down. There we go. I need to go find the trailer for that. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about it. It looks neat. There was other stuff that like I've known about and things that are like maybe going to be exclusives because I don't have a Switch. So it's like, well, I don't really need to worry about that. But that's a game that I'm like, that's going to come to a bunch of things. I'm going to be excited to play that. That looks neat. So those are the two big Nintendo Indie World things. If you had anything from the Nindies that you were like, oh Pat, I can't believe you're not talking about this thing. This was clearly the best thing at that thing. Feel free to let me know. Um, but that's what I took away from it. Like that was my big like, okay, this is what I want to play. Um, so did we? No, this is this. Put these in here. Okay, let's see. Other things. Let's just get out of the way. It's important to talk about these things because today was a big day for Call of Duty leaks, in so much that the choice was made to confirm those leaks by the Call of Duty Twitter account because leaks are out, um, and the fact that they were ready, that they made the choice to just go with it, could be one of two things. One, well, the leaks are out there, and it was so close to us making announcements. Just go ahead, because it's only a couple of weeks. These announcements will probably be made at Gamescom, right? So we'll just make it now. Or those leaks were a part of a marketing strategy and were anticipated. Uh, those are the two ways you can look at it. Also, I shout outs and appreciation to the company or to the websites out there, the news gathering websites out there, that instead of covering the leaks, they chose to talk more about the Activision firings or letting goes or retirements or uh, who knows. But it kind of felt like this was a weird timing of those two things. Um, Three people were fired at Activision Blizzard. They were all Blizzard employees, high-ranking Blizzard employees. These are people that were like leads on games like Overwatch and Diablo and World of Warcraft. Uh, so much so that one of these people that was let go, his last name is McCree, and that's also the name of an Overwatch character, and that is not a coincidence. Two of these three men were in the now infamous photo of the Cosby Suite. That one of those photos, and was known for that. Uh, and yeah, obviously, um, having big names of studios, uh, get fired is quote unquote interesting. Who knows what that will lead to? Don't want to speculate too much on that. Obviously, speculation is a serious thing in many cases because it's kind of tough to know what's going to happen. But getting rid of senior management without doing any work towards employees to help them to go into in any way does feel very hollow because then you also have something like the fucking the Alex Hutchinson dumbass starting a new studio with a bunch of other people. The guy that worked, on games and then was developing for Stadia among other things, but then definitely made it seem like he worked for Google, where he was just a developer on a studio making like that had like a contract with them. Of course, he's starting a new indie studio, and then you looked at it and don't worry, guys. There is one woman that works for this company, this new studio. It's just she wasn't included in the photo, and every other employee was. And they're all white dudes. But don't worry, there's one woman on the team. And honestly, all they did was call up the people they know and hire the people they know. They didn't job search. They just hired a bunch of people they know based on recommendations. And that's who they ended up with. Because of course it is. Because of course it is. Because of fucking course it is. Yeah. Uh like, oh, it's hard to find female engineers. It's like, yeah, I fucking wonder why, dude. Well, if you only use your Rolodex and you're a shitty white dude, you know, you may know a few people, but those people probably aren't taking your fucking calls because they know you're a shitty white dude. Ugh. And again, this is just yet another example that shines a good light on the insidious nature of a Fulbright issue. Um, I have been dealing with Facebook group modding issues because of this announcement. So thrilled. Oh, great. Sorry to hear that. A faceless name. Um, but yeah, I mean, when you take into consideration like the Fulbright issue, right? One of the things that obviously sucks so much about that, beyond the fact that hey, words maybe, that it's a studio where one of the co-founders was so verbally abusive to female employees, is that because it was a studio that made female-led characters that are female-led games, and especially specifically because Gone Home was a lot of people's first favorite game that are new in the industry. That is their like, oh, games can be this. So when you hear the horror stories of game development, and then you're like, whoa, Fulbright's hiring. They, they made Tacoma, and they made Gone Home, and their next game is going to be like female-led characters, and like that's the kind of studio I want to work for. And especially for new people don't have access to the Whisper network, so they don't get to hear things like, well, if you talk to this person, and I know these people, and you don't get to hear that, um, because there were some people that like, you know, have known about this for a while, but it comes down to the Whisper network exists because a lot of times it's not someone's place to say, right? Like, you can look at the facts and go, I know this game developer who worked for them, and she said publicly that she's going off on her own. She wants to focus on making her own games and not work for a company. And you just take that at face value. But if you know a bunch of people in the industry and you start hearing a bunch of the same exact stories from a lot of just women, you start going, huh, weird. A lot of this is weird. And it fucking sucks. I don't have a point. I don't have a point. It just fucking sucks. Like, it just sucks. Like, I wish I had a point to that. I don't. Um, but yeah, I don't, it is not surprising that a new studio revved up and their announcement photo is just a bunch of fucking dudes. That is just a bunch of white dudes. That is not surprising in the least. And it should be shocking, and it's not. And it does feel bad that some people's response is, why are people shocked about this? Like, what do you like, come on. Like, like, we are desensitized to this now. And that fucking sucks. It really sucks. That I can go through. That's weird. But anyway, what's this new studio? Oh, so um Alex Hutchinson, who made a little bit of Dunked on Waves when he was a person, uh, uh, basically like saying a bunch of nonsense, and then people were like, "This dude works at Stadia, and he's saying a bunch of nonsense," and it was like, "No, that dude Twitter profile says he works at Stadia. He's a game developer who's making a game with there." And then yeah, so that dude is forming a new company, and all of the other employees that are pictured, but there is one who's not pictured. Don't worry, she's just not in the photo. Are all straight, or well, I can't say that. They're all white dudes. I cannot say they're all straight white dudes. That's rude of me. So I won't say that. But they are all white dudes. And there's one lady though. Don't worry, she's just not in the photo. Uh, yes, the amount of energy people. Yeah, and it's just like not pictured diversity. Thank you, Fan. That is pretty succinct in that. Yeah, and then of course the usual harassment comes in. This kind of at general anger people have at saying anything negative about the thing they love. That has been a consistent refrain from just complete and utter nonsense people. Is just looking at like, And also, like, the thing with people being mad at Magician's for Hire is that it's for lots of things and everything and anything. Um, it's he leaks if he leaks information, they're mad at him because the same people who are mad that you ruin this for the devs are also the same people who are mad will call him a liar, because if he puts out information they don't want to hear, well, he's a liar. If he puts out information they are excited about, well, he's being an asshole. Um, uh, and then yeah, and then if he talks about anything that is negative about a company, that there's just an incredibly strong chance that those 20 people are one, never going to make a fucking video game, because making video games is hard. And two, if they do make a game, the chances that any of those people will play it is so low, because even though making games is very hard, it's also true that there are so many fucking video games. Uh, so it's this weird thing where you're just like, okay. Because yeah, when people say like, "Oh, well, they hired the best people for the job," it's like, well, they definitely didn't, because they didn't do a job search. They just hired people they know. And I gotta tell you, folks, um, people that don't like that only hire people they like. Well, I know this person. Oh, that person wanted to leave. Oh, whatever. They don't do like looking at resumes or body of work that just go on like who you know. If you can't back that shit up, it doesn't fucking matter. Uh, and if you only hire people you completely 100% take away the possibility of hiring someone incredible that you don't fucking know. You gotta like, it's yeah, just very frustrating. Um, Speaking of news you don't want to hear, I am real bummed about the news of possible Machine Games uh, made Quake game. So I'll have to be honest with you, Lashbrook. I have never been into Quake. So, and I have liked some of what Machine Games have made. I would say I'm more bummed about Machine Games making a Quake thing, because I want them to make other things more than I am because of my feelings on what they would do with a Quake game. I would like Machine Games to make other things that I'm interested in. So I know that I'm probably approaching that from a different place than some people. Um, but also, like, I don't know. I guess I don't have a good thing I don't have like a good argument about that. Um, Look, if Machine Games gets to keep making games, like that, to me always feels like a win, is when a company gets to keep doing a thing, because it is hard to be able to keep doing a thing in at this time and this place in this world. Um, uh, so yeah, we're gonna go in here and we are going to continue. We're getting progress on this monster truck. I think that is, yeah, the Blizzard thing is just like continued. It's kind of noteworthy because these were big names at Blizzard. What this will mean in the future is debatable, if it will mean anything, if it will improve anything in any way, shape, or form. Uh, if it is just a cleaning house. What it probably means is, what it most likely means is the Blizzard side of Activision Blizzard, which should be it's called Activision Blizzard, but it's really Activision Vivendi. That's probably going away, and we're going to see Blizzard as a studio less than like its own studio, which has been happening a lot, but it's going to just continue to happen because they won't replace them with Blizzard. They will replace them with um, Activision working on Blizzard projects. Is probably what's going to happen. Um, and who knows what that will mean. I mean, obviously they need to make Wolfenstein 3, but I haven't enjoyed the combat enough in those games to be predisposed to them doing Quake. So I will say I didn't necessarily love the Wolfenstein Daughters game, but I have liked the other Wolfenstein games. I like them enough. Okay. let's put on some wheels. Gotta get our wheels here. We got our big wheels, and then we got our inner wheels and outer wheels. Okay, so another thing that I want to chat with you all about tonight is it's time to talk about some manga because I have been on a manga reading tear lately. I've had plenty of time. Uh, I am currently waiting. I have a lot. How do I say this? I am working on a thing that I should be able to talk about more in the future, but that thing requires me to send information to people and then just sit and wait for them to get back to me with more information. So I have had time on my hands. And I've been using that time but like can't really like go do a thing, can't really like leave, gotta like kind of be close to the computer, can kind of do it on my phone, but not really. So I have been reading a lot of manga and I've been jumping around, I've been trying things. So I will now present to you some manga that I'm reading that I think is pretty okay. Um, and we will start with The Unique Cheat of the Man Dragged In by the Four Heroes. I don't know a better translation than that. That is the literal translation, which is The Unique Cheat of the Man Dragged In by the Four Heroes. Stop me if you heard this before. Some teens get summoned uh, and they are they are the chosen heroes. They have been summoned. They are the heroes. They are here to do hero things. They are here to save the king has summoned them to do heroic feats and to help the kingdom. And also another student was isekai'd. The four students were there, but they were together talking and they know each other. And one of the students, another student, walked into the room. He is kind of chatted with them. They are all have the title of heroes. He has the title of innocent bystander. Um, but he has like they don't realize that his skills are good, that his observation skills will be very helpful. Um, uh, because they're just on the surface they're just like, well, whatever. And he's very smart enough to go like, hey, I wasn't supposed to be here. Can you give me some gold and I will leave? So he just gets like some seed money. And then he's also like, if they figure out what my powers are and how they can be used properly, they're going to make me fight in this unnecessary war. This king seems shady. In order to summon heroes, he sacrificed his own daughters to perform this ritual, and then one daughter survived, but she's in a rough shape. So that seems like nonsense. I'm gonna get out of this country. So he just like pieces out of the country, um, and he travels the world and he reads books. And he the things he's interested in are gaining knowledge by reading and eating really cool foods. Also, he's definitely an asshole. He's not like the worst. He's not a antagonist by any means, but he is like he meets like these beast people, these demi-humans, and he's just like kind of a jerk. A ongoing joke in this series, which I really enjoy, is that because he is kind of an asshole and very like upfront and he doesn't play nice, when he does compliment people, they really enjoy it because it means that he means the compliment. Uh, and because it's an anime, a lot of the people that he is nice to are young ladies. So, because of circumstances, he's basically gets the title of like loved by young women or something like that. He does not enjoy that particular title, but it's good. I think the characters that he meets are really interesting, and the story they're telling I think is really cool. The supporting cast I think is great, and I do love that he is just a complete and total like he is just like pragmatic in a way that is just like this seems fishy. I'm out of here. Okay, we're going. To the point where he's like, he ends up, he wants to travel to a place because he knows a lot of these countries are dealing with like racism against, demi-humans. And he's just like, there's no point in dealing with that. I don't have time for that. If I'm going to be in a place that's like, doesn't have religious freedom or feels this way about these races, that's not going to work. So I'm out of here. And I like that. So that's good. Um, let's talk about another reincarnation story. I would classify this anime in the same route as Spider and Slime, in that it is a person reincarnated, uh, but not as a human. Um, and it's real weird in its concept, and its execution, I think, is actually pretty great. And it's called Reincarnated as a Sword. And I think you could guess what it's about based on the name. Reincarnated as a Sword. I've only read a little bit of it. I got okay far, not super far into it. But it's pretty good in that it is. Um, so a dude gets reincarnated as a sword, but he can move around. Like the sword can move. He's got magic powers. He's a magic sword. He's an intelligent sword, is what they call it. So he can move around. And he can do stuff. So he like destroys monsters and just kind of like his basic thing is like, hey, I need to find myself like somebody cool to wield me. That would be great. That's what I'd like to do. I could power up and whatever, and I can share skills with that person so they can get stronger, and that'll be cool. And I can get just whatever. So you just kind of like aimlessly like killing stuff and doing whatever. And then at one point there's gravity in this weird part of a map or a forest he's in, and he's like, "Uh-oh, I am stuck here." And so he basically like gets stuck in the ground. And he's there for a month or something, or 3 months or something like that. And so he's just like, "Oh, someone please save me. Someone please come and take me out of this ground. I can't use my magic to fly around or use." He basically uses like uh, telekinesis on himself, and he's like, "I can't do that right now. I am stuck here." And anyway, luckily for him, a passing by slave who is nameless, um, she comes by and she pulls him out of the ground because there's a monster attack happening, and he's free, and he's just like, "Yep, you are my wielder. Uh, this sounds great. I am going to help you. Uh, we're gonna get rid of this contract, this slave contract view." She is a cat girl. She's a black cat, which has they have suffered many abuses at the hands of other cat people and other races. But she's just like, "You're a talking sword, and when I wield you, I'm stronger than I was before. This fucking rules." Like she's just like, "This is awesome. I'm so psyched about this. You're incredible. What's up?" Uh, and he's like, "Hey, I named you, or Fran. Your name is Fran. Name me." And she's just like, "Your name is Master because you're my master and you're a strong sword." And so I don't think this was on purpose, but maybe it was. He's the Master Sword, which I just think is very fun. And every time someone just like, "Oh yeah, that's the Master Sword," it just makes me laugh. Um, anyway, she's cute. She's a hard worker, and I just got to the part in the manga where uh, they summon a beast, a familiar, and it's a big giant wolf that becomes a small wolf, and it rules. It is a cool wolf, and that's fun. And there aren't like a lot. There's like a lot of like, we met this person and now we're gone. I think it's just now. Eventually, it will get to the point where we're gonna have some new characters, but it's not like a like I don't get the sense that he's ever gonna have a human form. Like he can at one point take on a human form for a brief moment, and it looks like his old body, but I don't feel like that's gonna be like an ongoing thing. Um, I don't think it's gonna be like the time I got reincarnated as a slime, where Rimuru eventually has like a human form and isn't just like a slime all the time. That's not this. I think this dude is a fucking sword. Also, I should also point out that he does have eyes. The sword doesn't have real eyes, but he has a bit of a face for to help it be more interesting to look at. And so I don't know. I don't think this is going to get picked up necessarily as an anime, but maybe it would. But if it does, I think that they would have to do that because otherwise you're just hearing thoughts of a sword. It's pretty fun. I think it's pretty neat. Like I said, it's got the supporting cast is kind of small, but I like them. Um, so I've been reading that, and then the only other one I want to talk to you about is so this is definitely a reincarnation. Oh, I should say before I get into this third anime that I want to talk about, we are done with this. We finished this. I'm going to take a photo of it, but I am going to show you um, how this works because it does to clear the table, the extra pieces. So this is because of the Technic. If I pull back here, it does roll. And I got to be careful because I don't want it to roll off the table. So let's see, I'll start here. You just wheel it back, and the mechanism causes it to roll around. It's this piece in here pulling back. And you can see you can hear it. I guess I can show you this too. But yeah, boom, woo, found stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna take a photo of it. But yeah, that's what this was. And yeah, the third anime or manga, I just started reading this. I'm only like 2 chapters in. It's called New Strong Saga. That is the literal translation. I don't know if there is a romance version of it. But that is the translation. Is a yes, Aristophan. I do think I think it's fun too. Um, New Strong Saga is a it's about so you can argue that it's an isekai because the world that this guy goes to is a different version of his world, but I don't think it's an isekai. I just think it's a different world anime. Sorry, I just think it's a reincarnation anime. But anyway, so a dude was part of the hero's party because the demon race attacked. It was a new demon lord, and they attacked, and the humans were not prepared for it, and everything went bad. But they managed to defeat the demon lord, but at the cost of everyone in this party, everyone he's ever known. Some of the people in his life died like immediately, um, and then other people died in this battle. And he's like, "This, I don't know what to do." But he finds this gem, this magic gem, uh, the dragon stone or something like that. And when he touches it, uh, he travels back 4 years in the past before the demon invasion. And he has all this knowledge, he has his memories, and he does discover that it's a slightly different timeline because he has two souls now. He's that soul is occupying his previous soul, so it's not necessarily time travel. It's going back 4 years in time in a different dimension, which is cool. All right, we're gonna move over to the Crossbone too. While I keep talking here, I'm gonna get set up for the Crossbone because we are done with this monster truck. Woo! Papa Wheelie, we're good to go. Papa Wheelie, we're done with that. All right, I'm also going to tweet out that we're going to switch over because maybe a few more friends will want to join us. We'll see if anybody else wants to come. I'm just going to type out here, pull my keyboard out here. Starting the Crossbone. Anyway, basically, it's kind of interesting because this dude is like, well, I know the future, and I know, like, so right before this big battle, they found this mystery dungeon, this old ancient dungeon, and got some cool weapons to help them with the fight. So he just goes there. He just goes there to get that because he knows where that dungeon is. So he gets like this incredible sword made by this ancient civilization that has like a soul, like an artificial soul attached to it that can like help him out. And he gets his party together that he eventually built. He builds a version of the party, but now he also has one of his close friends so he can help because she died in the first attack, but now they're training, so she won't be there. But also things change in a way that he can't predict because well he knew that this princess would die and it would be like an accident, so he's like, well, we'll save this princess who I know is going to die because I will become a hero. His basic plan is if I can become a hero, I can rally people together and they will believe me when I say that this demon threat is real because the world will get the human realm and all the other realms will get behind a champion. So I will do that. I'm gonna do that. But he saves this princess. Well, turns out she the king was behind her death, and so that was easy. So even though it felt like uh, an open and shut case of like like oh there was an accident, is oh that's because the king didn't have anyone investigate anything because he's the fucking king, and so of course he wouldn't. Um, so there's events that he just knows about, but then there's other stuff he didn't know enough. He didn't have enough info about it. Uh, there's a fun revelation that a particular character is pregnant because in the previous version of this, he was around, and so she just didn't have an opportunity, but now she is. So like now he's just like, wait, what? I don't know. It's pretty neat. I like the characters that are involved. There is a revelation about like the other dude who didn't really have a lot going on, and then you find it like, oh no, this dude has some fucking shit going on. That's pretty great. Um, yeah, I would say that it is pretty cool. New Strong Saga is pretty neat. I'm gonna probably keep reading it. Like I said, I just started it. Let's see. What else do I want to talk to you about, everybody out here watching the stream? Um, oh, okay. Let's talk about what we're building right now. The Crossbone X2 Ver.ka. I did have somebody ask me, Pat, what does Ver.ka mean? So I will explain that. Ver.ka basically means that this is an alternate version. Um, so that is the easiest explanation. But basically, uh, the X2, Crossbone X2, which is manga Gundam, um, I think it might be in some video games, but it's primarily a manga thing. This kit this kit is, these are alternate colors. These are fun, cool, different colors, uh, which is neat. I think is very neat. Um, and this kit was originally released in the year, let me check, 2013, I want to say? Yes. So this kit was released in 2013, but it was Japan only, and you'd have to import it. So I've never seen it appear anywhere as a thing you can buy. So this is a re-release. I got this premium Bandai. Um, so this is a reissue of that kit, which means, unfortunately, that it is a 2013 manual. So there are some things that fucking rule about this manual. Like it shows you in white what piece we're about to build, which is the body. That's awesome. But like, there's a lot of text here that I would love to be in English, and it is not. Uh, so I'm kind of have to just be like figuring this out as I go, because this is like, how do you want this to work? This looks like this, and so that goes like that. Okay. So I do have to do a little bit of, in some instances, I will probably have to do a little bit of like, is this how you wanted me to do this? And I'll just kind of like take it from there. It should be fine, because I can always fix my mistakes, but it is like a little bit like, how do you want this? Because like, yeah, like I said, there's text, and I'm just like, but we'll figure it out. It also, like I said, because it is a Ver.ka, it is a different style kit. Um, its colors I just think are gorgeous. This was a no. There were a lot of options of stuff, and I could only pre-order one thing at the time. Financially, I was just like, oh, I can't really do anything. I can't do more than one kit. But this was, to me, even though there were a lot of options, this was a no-brainer because it just fucking look. It's a purple and blue pirate-themed Gundam. I'm gonna get it. I've also only built a crossbone in the XD, the the chibi version. I've never built like a full crossbone. Maybe I've built the Master Grid crossbone before. I should actually take that back, but I haven't built that many of them. So to me, this just felt like an easy choice of like, all right, well, if I'm gonna get one of these, if I'm gonna get something this time around, it's gonna be this. And I knew that this was a 2013 kit. I didn't know if this was going to be a reissue or just um, because sometimes they will reissue things like this, which is just they just do the process the same. They have the manuals, they print everything out, and it's just like in 2020 or 2021, whenever they manufactured it, they just follow all the steps. And then there are like new editions, right? Like we're starting to see the the Gundam Wing uh, kits are starting to come out in high grades, right? They've released 3 of them so far. Or probably get the other 2, I imagine, or 3 or 4 or whatever. But those are like 2020 heavy arms. It's basically the same. There's some changes, but they're new printings of those. This is not that. This is like this still says 2000. This says Bandai 2006 because these parts were used for the Crossbone that came out in 2006. So even if this was re-released, this is what you got in 2006. So even if this is new plastic, it's still era appropriate. Which, like, honestly, I don't have a problem with. I think the manual is the thing I have the most problem with because I'm like, okay, ooh, okay, all right. I've gotten spoiled. This is like 2 years out from starting to see this more and more. I'm gonna check something here. Uh, just check something real quick. Don't get no good. Okay. Um, you would see this more and more in 2015. You start to see the change to seeing more English and seeing more legends where it's like explaining what these things are. These stickers will be numbered instead of symbols, which vastly improves for myself as someone that can't read kanji. To see kanji, to see numbers, Roman numerals instead of not even Roman numerals, the Arabic alphabet or numbers. I'm all over the place. You know what I mean. Uh, Seeing 1 through 5 instead of a bunch of kanji would make my life. It makes my life a lot easier. That's what I'm trying to say. I got real in my head on explaining that. I don't know why. Anyway, there's some really cool, clear stuff in this kit as well. Look at this fucking radical pink. Look how cool this pink is. This is very cool. Also, I'm gonna take this piece out. Then I'm going to tell you about a thing. There are no polycaps on this kit, which is fun. It's fun to build a kit. 2013, like a master grade that doesn't have any polycaps. That is interesting. I'm gonna tell you about a thing. Here's the thing. This kit has a cape. It has a cape. I'm not pictured in the photo cape. It's got a cape. I'm going to be building a cape at some point for this kit because this kit has a cape. And that fucking rules. This kit has a cape. And if you tell me that a mobile suit that has a cape isn't incredible, I will refer to you as a liar. Because every kit that has a cape is great. It makes this when the Sandrock, the Sandrocks that have capes are the best Sandrocks, which is, as you may remember, it is cloth. This is cloth. Um, you might remember that we've just recently built a cape, a kit that had a beam cape, but this is cloth. This is a fabric material, and one side shinier than the other, which is great. Um, it's a poly blend, I'm sure. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, I love that thing has a cape. Yes, the Sandrock that has the cape, which is not. Sandrock is my least favorite of the Wing Gundam Gundams, but even then, I'm like, hell yeah, y'all, good on you. Is the secret Captain Harlock Gundam? There has been I believe people have done customs to make it more Harlock. Um, I probably with the original color scheme, it's probably better than this. But yeah, this thing's got a fucking cape, and that'll probably be one of the last things that we do, which is just cool. You may have noticed, eagle-eyed viewers, and hello, of course, all my viewers, but also my eagle-eyed viewer friends. You may have saw this and said, "Hey, wait, Pat. why don't you have your indication of what markers you're going to use? And that's because we have dark blue, we have purple, and we have a little bit of gold. And all of those pieces, I'm just going to use, and we have like two tiny pieces that are white. But the white don't have any panel lines. So we're just all going to use black on everything. So I don't need my guide to guide me about what this is going to look like because I already know what it's going to look like. It's just going to be like anytime I have panels panel lines to hit, it's just going to be the black marker. Because even this, all of these white pieces are going to be pretty much, the skull, I guess, will hit with gray when it's time to put the skull on. But there's so little of the skull, and the skull is very tiny, like you can't really see it, so it doesn't really matter. We need B10, or we need L3. This is L3. Wait, that's not right. That's B10, this is L3, got it. This is very tiny. This will hopefully be the smallest part of this kit. We will take a pause for the cause in a few minutes. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel. Then we'll get back into building. But let me get these tiny pieces in here, and that's B11. This is B11. Okay, that's B7. That's B11. There's B10. Got it. Doing it. Good night, and thanks for the stream. Well, thank you, Dirty. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a good one. Appreciate you hanging out. All right, so let's figure this part out. This goes like this. Then this has to go in this. Again, these are tiny pieces, so it is kind of frustrating. Because I have to like figure out what these mean. I kind of have to figure out like based on my understanding of the kit. This is this part. Okay, so what I can always do is when I'm really in doubt is I can just take this and blow it up. So that's what this means. Got it, got it, got it. Okay, so these white parts go here on this chest. I understand now. These are side parts because this is going on the like the top of the chest like this. This goes on here, then folds down. So it goes like this. You can see there's little tiny white pieces on the side here. And that's where that goes. Got it. I'm just going to keep this photo big for a second. I know you can't see my hands, but I'll show you the results in a second. It's just having this as a reference is very helpful for me because this did not explain this properly, what this meant and how they wanted me to attach these. So now I know. Let's go. These are so small. I'm so afraid of getting this on wrong. Problem is I can't see the top of it, so it does go like this. Go on here. So tiny. Okay, so this looks like this. This is the one that goes on. I know that part. Got one of them on. I got one of them on. Now I can make this smaller so you can actually see what I'm doing. Apologies for that. And then I'll take the other one I need. So basically, I put this on here. You can see that there a little bit of white. There is very little white on this kit. Very careful with this. I got some good kits that I'll be building in the future. I mean, this is going to take a while because this is a master grade. So this will always, master grades always take a little time. But I think it's going to turn out great. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It's cool, just a cool looking kit. And it will take a little time, as I said, because, a kit where I can't really always understand exactly what they want me to do does mean it'll take a little while for me to get exactly where I want to be. But we will take a pause to cause in a moment or two. It's like we're wasting support the channel, do all that stuff. But first, get some of this going. Gotta get a little progress done before we take a break. Remote. Okay, so this goes in here. This looks like this. And where does this go? This is great streaming. Okay, so this is gonna attach like that. I can kind of see how, it goes up and then it locks in after. Okay. Go like this. Okay, I got it. I figured out what I needed to do. Got the piece in. I think it'll be okay there. And then this goes like this into it. Interesting way to do this thing. All right, so that locks in like that. Great. And the back part locks in like this, and that's where the head is going to go. That locks in. Oops. I got to make sure that this part is right before I lock everything together because it will be annoying to take it out, is my guess. I'm just going to go ahead and guess this will be really annoying to fix later. I'm going to try to get this right now. That looks right. This will hopefully lock it in place. All right. I assume once I'm done with this, the rest will be very smooth sailing. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I want to get this connected before I take our pause to the cause, because we got this part. There's, the rest of it, we've got a little bit more to do here, but not too much more to do on the chest. The body, I should say. And then we'll talk about some anime, because I got 3 isekai. If you're sick of me talking about isekai manga, well, don't worry, I got isekai anime to talk to you about. Some interesting things happened in some shows. I would say at least one of the shows I was like, oh, okay. And the other one I was like, ooh, okay. And then one I was like, yeah, all right. So it ran the gambit of me being excited. Great, we got that connected. There's no point in doing any real panel lining on this yet because we still have more parts of the chest and body to complete. But the arms are going to move, so I didn't fuck that up. I didn't fuck that up. Anyway, hi. We're going to have pause to the cause. If you're new to the stream, I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. All of these things I'm going to have to say are optional. None of these things are things that I'm like, you gotta like do this stuff. These are all things you could do if you would like, and I would appreciate them if you did. But again, these are optional. Don't feel like you need to. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the moat in the chat. Let the people know. This is going to be quick. I'm going to go through these pretty fast. But I do like to do that stuff if I can. So yeah, if you're a subscriber, you can throw those emotes in the chat. Let the people know that you are a subscriber. Always appreciate that. Nice to see that people are here and watching. Let's see. First and foremost, this is basically completely supported by all of y'all. So thank you to everybody who is a subscriber. They're throwing their emotes in there like Lastbrook did. Becoming a subscriber is an easy way to support what I do with cash money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime, you link it with your Twitch. That supports me as well, and I appreciate that. Let's see, other ways to support me. Patreon. I got a Patreon for $1, $3, $5, or $10 a month. You could join me there. That would be an easy way to support me if you were so inclined. Because maybe you don't want to give $5 to where I get half of that through Twitch. Maybe you want to give me a thing where I get a larger percentage through Patreon. You just don't want to have, Twitch subs. Understandable. It's totally cool. Also, if you want to support me on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel, and you can support me there for free by subscribing, or you could join with a membership, and you get a video one one video a week, you get a day early. So my Wednesday videos, you get on Tuesday, which is, I think, pretty cool. It is a very small thing that I can do. Let's see. So there's that, there's that, there's that. I have direct donations, because everything I make through Twitch and Patreon and YouTube all goes into me buying model kits and equipment. So I also direct donations is another way to do that, and that goes into a fund, which a kit like this, a kit like the Crossbone that I'm building right here, I don't get to buy cool shit like this without support from folks like y'all. So if you want to put money into there, I would really appreciate it. Let's see, what else? I have an Amazon wish list. If you wanted me to stop, let's say, like, Pat, finish this kit, but after this kit, don't build the Hello Kitty kit that you have. Don't build the Ale Strike. Don't build the Calamity full mechanics that you really are interested in building very soon. You say, no, don't build that. I bought you a kit off your Amazon wish list, so you build that next. And I'll be like, yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for buying it. To talk about the list, I've got inexpensive Lego. I've got more expensive Lego. I've got high-grade kits, master-grade kits, things that are very inexpensive, things that are woefully, like, why did this go up in price so much? What are people doing? Why would anyone buy that for that price? What are we talking about here? All kinds of things. Kits that I would love to build, kits that I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to that. And also some gear at the very bottom, because it is nice to have some options that are gear related. And again, I will shoot a video if you buy something from the wish list. It's a thank you. I'll shoot a video like that I call the mailbag videos. USA Gundam Store is a alternative to that. You could buy a gift card from USA Gundam Store. They'll send you an email with that code. Then you could send that code to me via my DMs, which are open, or through Whisper here on Twitch. And that is an alternative to Amazon. Let's see. What else can I say? I didn't mention gifting subs. We had a gifted sub tonight by Mr. Hadel. You could gift a sub to somebody in the community, and that would be great. Or if you've been gifted a sub, you can convert that to a regular subscription. That would also be rad. Again, trying to get, we're at 47, trying to hit 50. Would love to hit 50 soon. So if you would like to gift a sub, or if you'd like to subscribe, that would be a great way to support me. If you want to support me for free, you could join my Discord. My Discord is a free thing. It's a nice little community. I think you'll enjoy it. You could jump in to my Discord, and I think that would be great. So let me hit that there. Because I post build photos at their stream. Other people post stuff they're working on. It's nice. It's a nice little community. Let's see, what else do I want to plug? A couple videos that I've made. Pat Bear's Anime Club. I'll have a new one out on Monday, but if you missed me talking about all 11 isekai that are out this season, I did a video about all 11 isekai. I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you here right now, folks, Monday's video is about a particular idol show that I happen to enjoy. The only idol show I've ever really liked. And I'll kind of try to get into, from the perspective of someone that does not seem to enjoy idol shows, which is me, what it took for me to be like, this rules. Lashbrick says, speaking of that Hello Kitty kit, I'm hoping that Online Gundam Expo has the clear version of the Hello Kitty Zaku so I can have a matching set. Ooh, yeah. Because there's the Hello Kitty, as Lashbrick points out. There's the Hello Kitty, which is what I have, which is this. There's a clear version of that. There's also another Hello Kitty set that that is with a Zaku, and it's the same kind of kit. But Lashbrick is hoping that they'll have a clear version of that so that Lashbrick can have a matching set, which makes sense, and I hope that for you as well. The other video I want to say is Best of Build With Baer, which is my best of series. If you ever see a moment in the show, any stream that I do, that you're like, that was really funny, and you want to hit the clip button, clip it. Clip that moment, because that would be great, because I'm doing like hard baked in subtitles or captions, and doing like a little best of. This is from yesterday, but the previous Wednesday's stream. So this one is me accidentally saying the name of video game wrong, and thus creating a new game, possibly a better game. But yeah, it's just a clip of that. So if you ever see something, hit the clip it, because I try to remember, like, I remember that and going like, that's a good moment. So I in the moment I was like, I'm going to clip this. So if that ever happens and you're like, ooh, cool, you can always do that. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's just a little series you can watch there. All right, I'm going to drink a little more water, and then we're going to get talking about some anime because we have 3 shows to talk about here. I did not update that, so I'm going to have to do it a different way, which is frustrating. Um, just ordered an MG, Thunderbolt. Feeling good. Good afternoon to you. That's awesome. That's very cool. Congrats. All right, so I'm gonna have to do my normal. I didn't update Nightbot for the anime command, which just lists the anime that I'm watching. So we're gonna do it this way instead, which is fine. Is different but the same. We'll get back to building. We're working on the Crossbone X2 Ver.ka. And I'm going to tell you about a couple anime shows that I watched since last stream on Monday. Um, I should say that I am no longer going to be talking about like weekly the Aquatope on White Sand. I'm behind on that show, and I will get caught up because I do enjoy it. But that is to me, that's a show about vibes, not about like hey, this happened and then this happened. Like it's a lot of that show really feels like I don't know. It's a lot of like character development. There is a plot, but if you, I don't know, it just feels weird to talk about like the moments of it. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I will talk about 3 other shows as we get some stuff together here. We need 38 part of the chest as we work on the chest of this Crossbone X2 Ver.ka. So that time I got reincarnated as slime. Not a lot of slime conversations. If you were like, oh, cool, Rimmaru's going to say some stuff in this episode. He does, but then then it's definitely more about other people, which is always interesting to me in the show that is like has such a strong main character to be like, and now let's go somewhere else. Anyway, uh, basically he sends out his armies to go do something. Clayman is surprised that the Eurasian people are have been evacuated. The rumors that Rimuru has been spreading have reached Clayman, which is great because the Rimuru, the basically the thing that they pinned it on was like, hey, I don't want them to know how strong I am, so we're gonna say that actually it's because Veldora the dragon got released, and and it just so happens that Rimuru made a pact with him. But like that's not, it's all because of Veldora, which is a lie. But like Clayman just like Clayman listens to the word of like his kid, somebody who works for him heard from a merchant, and he's just like, well, I guess that's the thing. And it's like, come on, dude, like, come on, can't trust that shit. Um, uh, Also, we get a flashback to how Milliam became under the enthrall and control of Clayman, even to the point where Clayman like attacks her to test her, I guess. And it's like, hey, dude, if that didn't work, you would be dead. But we know that that Milliam has a ability that lets her see the world, uh, and so she shouldn't be able to be controlled. So it's very clear that she is faking it. Uh, like it's definitely like Clayman is definitely being like punked, and he does not realize it, and it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. So our this pops up here, so our cockpit view, which is cool. We're gonna do a little panel lining as we go, but it's not gonna really show up on this blue, so we don't really have to do much here, but it does show up on this gold, so we will hit that, or the yellow, whatever you want to call that. So that does show up a bit, so we will hit that. And then we can put a 16 and 15 on there. But anyway, yeah, it's very clear. Clayman is very naive to not understand that he's being played by numerous people. And okay, and then we jump to 2 other demon lords who we know of. We don't know a lot about Guy Crimson, but we do know a lot about Leon Cromwell because Leon Cromwell is the person that had summoned. Uh, Leon Cromwell is the reason why a lot of fucking kids get isekai'd into this world, um, including Shizuku, who is the reason why Rimuru has a body, a humanoid body that he can use. Um, so he is behind a bunch of that bullshit, and he sucks. Anyway, he meets with Guy Crimson, who is one of the strongest and earliest demon lords, and it's very clear that this dude is super strong. Also, I do want to point out bonus points to my man, uh, Guy Crimson. One, because his name is Guy Crimson, and that fucking rules. And two, because even if it is just part of an act, he is the first demon lord character to have any sort of wants that we've seen and sexual desires. Uh, because he's got a partner. He's got someone that he's partnering with, and that definitely seems to be they use partner, but it does seem to really be a relationship with Felzard, who is the basically she's like an ice witch, but also a dragon. Veldora's older sister exists, and she's just like, "Hey, my brother got released from his prison. I was planning on like waiting until he was gonna die and then visiting him, like when his life force was gonna end up. But he's out, and I don't understand why that happened. But she doesn't realize this is cool. This is a small little thing. She's like, oh, he's very weak right now, which is what they want people to think, because Veldora, because he was reading a lot of manga, he knows about suppressing his aura, which he wouldn't normally do. But now he's like, Rimuru has influenced him, and he's like, oh, my best bud, like my bestie. I'm not gonna like screw that up. I'm hanging out with all these low level monsters that are friends of his, and so I don't want to like freak them out. So I'm like suppressing my aura. So that I think that was kind of cool. But most of this episode is just them talking about it and kind of maybe believing that Rimuru is like believing the rumors, but they at least question these rumors. So they're like, these don't seem to be accurate or something's up. Uh, and then we also find out that Leon is, and he knows that Rimuru saved those kids, which he's trying to summon one specific person. That's why he's going through all this trouble. Uh, and a lot of it was mostly just conversation, you know. Also, this show kind of needs to do that unless it wants to, unless this show wants to dig into the light novels instead of the manga, it is going to get close to being caught up to the manga. So I think it's just cool. It's just trying to be pretty chill about these things. Oh, we are down to update this. Looks like some people's uh, subscriptions expired. Maybe they were gifted subs to people who didn't renew, or it's just this is the day that this happens. But we are down to 45 subs right now, which is okay. Would prefer that we were at that we were at 50, since we were making progress there. It's okay. Don't worry about it. If you would like to sub, that would rule. If you're not interested in subbing, that's also cool. Don't worry about it. I will say me getting to 50 subs means that I won't talk about needing to get to 50 subs, but that's okay. Everything's cool. Anyway, like I said, it's a fine episode. Drugstore in another world. The slow life of a cheat pharmacist is one. That's a lot of words that I just said there, and that's fine. And two, it is. Look, this is a slice of life isekai. It is just so saccharine and sweet. It is a lovely little series about a dude. We don't even know how he got isekai'd. It's him, his wolf girl assistant, his other assistant who's a ghost because the place they moved into to open up his pharmacy. They call him an alchemist. He's like, I'm not an alchemist, I'm a pharmacist. But they're, he's got this pharmacy. The place they moved into, I know this from the manga. I don't know this from the anime because they skipped that part of the manga and just did the anime part. But Mina is a ghost. She lived in that house. Eventually, they do talk about that, but she was just there, and it was like, well, are you going to be mad if we open up a store here? And she's just like, can I help? And so it's just like lighthearted. And they're like, people come in with problems. Most of the time, the episodes are made up of like a few problems that maybe intersect with one another, but they're just like people in the town who are dealing with things. And then our dude makes a potion that will help. And a lot of those potions are just like knowledge he has from his previous world. Um, but also he's a cheat pharmacist because they said like the cheat pharmacist because the potions he make taste good. Like if he makes anything that someone's supposed to be drinking, his medicines taste good because he just has that ability. And this is a world where medicines don't taste good. But he also like makes like his first popular thing is he makes an energy drink, and people are just like, this is like I legitimately have energy, because it's a fantasy world, and he's just like, oh, cool. I'm glad I could be of help. It's like I said, it's a very light, very chill little series. I very much enjoy it. Um, this episode focused around a character named Paula, who I've seen in the opening, and it was basically the whole episode was about her, and she is the first minor female character who, you know, I don't think she's necessarily in love with him, like some of the characters have been, but she is definitely the first character that had like that appeared that is this role of like minor character who wants to hang out with Reggie. That I actually like. I like her a lot because one has like abandonment issues, and then one of them is like one of them is a princess tsundere, and the other is like she's not. She's just trying to be a tough girl, and so she doesn't want to be girly. Um, and I don't mind Annabella, uh, who is the captain of the mercenary group that is protecting the town. Oh, thank you for the follow, for Gathers. Appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Um, but yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, it is. Oh, we finished the body. The body is done here. Um, because the back of the body is just empty right now. Don't worry, it won't always be like that. But right now, yeah, it is hollow. Uh, so let's move on to the head. Let's get into some of these small pieces. We'll get our first stickers in here. Some tiny, fun stickers. Got to do the eyes stickers. Everyone's favorite stickers on a model kit. Even of a master grade size is putting those eyes on there. Always fun. Everybody loves it. There's no one who doesn't love doing this part. That's me being sarcastic. The part of putting the eye stickers on is always frustrating. But we'll get these on. We'll get the eye sticker on. We'll put the face piece on, and then we'll put the eyes on over it because sometimes that helps. Um, anyway, what am I gonna say? Oh yeah, so this whole episode just kind of focused around Paula, who she works at a repair shop and a general like merchant store. Um, but she's had to do a lot of repairs, and she's way behind, and so she like falls asleep all the time. She's like, I like your energy drinks, but like I do have a problem where I can't always, it doesn't work the whole day. But I need help. I gotta put these pieces together, and nothing I do will work on it because they're too strong separately. Uh, and he's just like, oh, I will invent glue. This world does not have strong adhesive. And so he creates super glue, basically. And she's rightfully impressed because it fucking rules. And so he's like, great, solve that problem, move on, because like, you can get some sleep, everything's gonna be cool. And she shows up like the next day, and he's like, and he doesn't recognize her because she's like feeling good and like wide awake and like it isn't a problem, and he doesn't even recognize her. Uh, that moment, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, 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 I know you." And then she comes the next day, and the next day, because now that she's done all her repairs, she's bored because nobody comes into her shop because her shop is dark and things are dirty there, and people just don't think that it's a good store based on appearances. Uh, so Reggie's like, "I'll help you. I'll help you clean. I'll help you do all this stuff." And there's a moment where like it gets lost a little in translation, but basically the gist of it is that he's just like, why do you say friggin' all the time? Why do you talk? And it basically refers to the fact that she's a pretty looking young lady, but she has like she talks more like a boy would. Which the translation, which I appreciate, the translation was just like, we're not going to talk about gender in this in our translation, but we like because it's going to seem strange. She's just using like terms that uh, boys tend to use in discussion, and so they just have her say friggin' all the time. It is an interesting choice to do that, but it does. It basically just means that she has a quirk. They were like, well, we're just gonna have her have like a vocal quirk. Anyway, they clean the place up, but she still doesn't have a lot of customers because there aren't a lot of mercenaries and adventurers coming through. Um, he also basically creates a good polish for armor, and it there's a cute little bit um, where the little wolf girl Noelle comes in and she sees how shiny and bright the place is, and she leaves because she's just like, oh, wrong place, sorry. She just assumes she went into the wrong place because it's nothing like it looked before, which I just thought that was a cute choice. Um, let's see. All right, so this is gonna go here. The real thing is like I know how these kits go together. Um, basically, only hard sometimes because the faces until you get some of the face pieces locked together, it can sometimes be frustrating. Anyway, um, there may be the need for more adventurers because we've been seeing at the end of episodes, we've been kind of getting this feeling that things are going to get a little different because the current demon lord in this world is really a big fan of the potions that Reggie makes. So it seems like we might be getting a visit from the Demon King, which would be a big deal, certainly. The Demon King was just like, I'm gonna show up. So that might be happening. Why can't I get this piece to connect right? Sorry, folks. I know that this is not the most entertaining build right now, as I slowly try to figure out why I can't get this face piece on right. That goes like that. Great. So I got that part. I got that part. Now I just need this face part to go here. There we go. Got that in. Now I just need to put the eye sticker on, which is never my favorite part of a model kit build, but we'll do this here. And then the last show, I'm waiting for some stuff to start with this show because we had some really interesting ideas, and then it's kind of just simmered a bit. Tsukimichi, Moonlit fantasy about a dude who gets isekai'd, and then the goddess is like, "Wait, you're ugly. Get out of here." So he gets banished, and he's just trying to make do. And his basic thing is his parents are from this world, so even though he grew up in Japan, he's technically from the world. So he's just like, okay, well, I want to live the life as an adventurer, like my parents did. But he also has he has a lot of mana, even if he's not himself super strong. So he's made two different covenants with incredibly strong creatures. So, but they're quirky and weird, and like in this episode, where we already knew that one of the characters is really loves historical dramas because she saw some of his memories. Turns out, in looking at those memories, uh, another character is just like, "Oh, hey, I was looking at your memories, and I really like these things, these cartoons and live action shows." And turns out she's a real big fan of like Power Rangers style shows. Like she gets real into shonen, so she wants to read those memories, which is like, okay, sure. I guess that's fun. It was kind of a weird thing. I will also say that this episode introduced a new character named Patrick Rembrandt, and I'm really hoping that he is not a villain. It is set up that some adventurers think that he's a villain, and I am really hoping that he is not a villain because he has my name, and just so you know, that is not a popular name in anime. So I'm hoping that Patrick Rembrandt is not a villain. He seemed like everybody loves him. He seems like he's not a villain, uh, but also he totally could be because it is an anime. So which sticker is that? That was this sticker here. So this is Y. It's not Y, but that's what it looks like. We're putting the stickers that indicate that this is a camera, the front and back stickers on a kit. That indication. Uh, Always weird to do the back sticker because no one's ever going to see this unless it's in like a 360 spin on a display. You're never going to see the back stickers, but for completion's sakes, you want to do it. Anyway, like I said, that episode wasn't that strong. It wasn't great. But anyway, our dude, he joined the Merchants Guild. It's actually kind of interesting. So I think this was some of the humor because the show is pretty funny at times. One thing that we found found out in this episode is our dude Makoto passes with flying colors the Merchants test because he just has a high school education, and it's just like, oh, are people not really educated around here? Because this was real easy. Like these things, I memorized these things very quickly. A lot of this are common sense problems. So he manages to solve those problems very fast. He becomes a merchant, and his goal is to, with an alchemy for somebody he knew before, who was an alchemist, he's going to make potions to help people, help the Rembrandts folks. But there's been this adventurer who's been tailing our dude, who's like, I'm going to expose the Rembrandts. Those bastards won't get away with this. I don't know what that means. Will it be a conflict? Is the character with my namesake also going to be is he going to be a jerk, or is it a misunderstanding that we will learn about, and everyone will learn something and grow? And maybe that adventurer is actually the one that is wrong. I don't know. All right, so here. Covers the eyes too much. Oh, I gotta redo this. I didn't attach the faceplate on right because so basically the faceplate has this little guard piece on here that has to go low on it, but can raise up. But you have to attach it with low, otherwise you can't see the eyes on the sticker. I want to see the eyes on the sticker because they're the eyes. There it is. Did it. We'll just go and we're going to push this sticker back in and try to really make sure it adheres. These are re-released, but these might be even original stickers because these might be the stickers from other Crossbones because they're similar. So, but yeah, now we got piercing red eyes. Can't see that. They look good. It's a good sticker. Anyway, hi. We got some time left on the stream. I'm working on this head here. Gonna put some pieces together here. Let me ask y'all, what are you watching right now? I do like to check in. I can now tell you that I've watched 2 seasons of the New Zealand version of Taskmaster, and both seasons are great. Good chemistry between the host and his assistant. They got they just went with real weirdos, real weird stand-ups doing bits. It's like good people. They did some like their version of some of the original British like tasks, but they have new tasks. They have some tasks that feel very unique to the area, which is fun. But overall, it's really great and remove the bad taste in my mouth that was the American version. Um, so yeah, I was really happy with that. I thought that was really good, really strong work. Uh, and also shout out to Guy Montgomery, who's just a great person that I have met I've met once, and he was lovely. Guy Montgomery, great dude, who's on that show. It was very fun. Worst idea of all time podcast co-host, and 1/5 of the the Paul Blart Till Death Do Us Blart, which is the McElroy brothers and the guys from the Worst Idea of All Time podcast, have a podcast that comes out every year. I think they've done 6 of them now, maybe 5, but they watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 and then review it. And they watch it right before they review it again. And it's a yearly podcast that I really like. But Guy was on that and it was fun. Lastbrick says, not watching, but my Berserk Deluxe Volume 2 finally came in after 4 months, so I'm restarting that. Hell yeah, Lastbrick. Ooh, that's a good idea. Doing the old Berserk reread. That sounds cool. Good for you. I got put on A14. This is coming together pretty fast. I mean, we did the body, obviously, because the back is missing. It makes doing the body easier. The head, other than a little issue there, now it seems to be going pretty good, which is nice. We'll have to do some other parts there. We do have one more very tiny piece, which is always fun, and that fun is in quotation marks, but it's important because it's the skull. It's the tiny skull on its head, so you got to put that on there. But yeah, so that was a good that's been good to watch. I don't know if I have anything else. I've been rewatching a show called The Panelists, which is a loading ready run production. I've been going back and just watching those again. That is their attempt at doing a British panel style show where they're given like options, like ridiculous options, and then the two panelists have to kind of like pitch the host on basically like, okay, well, hey, here's a odd hypothetical. Da, 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 and then you have to pick that, and then they're just like absurd things, and they're all comedians that do it, so they are funny, and it's edited, so they do a good job of that. So I've been rewatching The Panelists, which is a great show. But I haven't really been checking out anything else. Like I said, I've had a lot of like have to sit at the computer, so I've been reading a lot of manga while I've been sitting. Um, and I'm still playing Hearthstone. I'm still, going through that. Uh, I don't have any. I don't have. I got my first from opening packs. I got my first of the new quest lines. But I can't remember. Oh, it was the Warlock one, and I don't like that quest line. That just do damage to yourself, and then eventually you do enough damage over enough turns, and then when you take damage, your opponent instead takes that damage on your turns, and it feels like a deck you don't. It feels like a deck you don't play against. It's a deck you try to beat before all that stuff happens, and that's not how I like to play. Um, so I'm going to keep it, but that's not a quest line that I want to check out. So hopefully I will get one of the ones I do. I want the Hunter quest line. I think that's neat, and maybe the Paladin one. Not a lot of people are playing the Paladin one, and I kind of want to check it out in Wild. So yeah, just there. Sorry. I'm kind of just playing a little bit. I've got an OTK deck that isn't necessarily an OTK deck. You need to do a lot of work to make it an OTK, which I like the idea of. Like it's an OTK, but there's a lot of luck involved, which is just a weird thing. So I like that. I don't know if there's anything else going on with me. A real chill evening here on the stream, folks, and that's okay. We're coming and going. Uh, can't necessarily trust the numbers. It's this really odd thing where uh, I'm like not fully trusting the numbers that uh, the dashboard is telling me because it doesn't line up with the amount of people in chat, and it's fine either way. But it's like weird because I'm just like, it seems like there's more people watching than you're telling me, but okay. I mean, sure, all right, that's fine. Uh, so it's just like, well, is the number wrong? Is the view number wrong, or is the number of people listed in chat wrong? I don't know, but either way, it's okay. Totally all right. Um, Sometimes you have a late night, and that's fine. Other stuff going on. People are trying to get out there and do stuff, and I hope they're safe while they're doing it. Um, but I'm really excited about this kit, so I hope that people will come hang out on Saturday as we delve deeper into this. because it's a really fun kit. And so I want people to be around to check it out. Um, it's a downer subject, so I'm not going to dwell too much on it. But I did want to make a public acknowledgement that uh, he was a good dude to me, and so perhaps some of the viewers are ghosts. Last work, that also could be true. That also is totally a possibility that some of those viewers are actual ghosts in the chat. Um, but I do want to just briefly say that Trevor Moore was a really interesting, creative dude from the Whitest Kids You Know. And he passed away unexpectedly. And that is a real shame, especially because in the they had kind of taken a break from doing stuff. They were doing all their own stuff. The members of the group, I mean, Timmy, like, basically became a dad and moved away, and other people were still in entertainment, but they were all kind of like doing their own thing. And then during lockdown, they kind of reunited on Twitch to do some stuff, and they were working on some projects together, uh, which was really nice. And they were planning to all meet up for an event, and unfortunately, the won't have all of them together. And it's a real shame. As I said, Whitest Kids kind of came up in New York while I was doing a lot of comedy stuff, and so I would cross paths with them a lot. And Trevor was always polite and nice and weird, and we got along fine. And I'm saddened to hear, and my thoughts go to his friends and family. But yeah, it's a strange thing because he was and is my age, so that is a weird thing. Very weird thing to kind of come to terms with. Um, my favorite story about Whitest Kids You Know, well, one, their big billboard in New York for their IFC show was across the street from my office, so I saw it all the time. Uh, and that was really weird. That was a little anecdote. But the other one was that uh, their manager, because they wanted to tour, because they had a TV show, and they had 2 seasons of a show on different networks, but they had a TV show. They had an internet following. They had like a YouTube channel with like a lot of people that watched it. So like they wanted to tour as comedians. It's hard to tour as a comedy group. It's easy to tour as a stand-up. It's hard to convince people. One, especially at the time. Uh, uh, Yeah, Lashberg. I mean, it's one of those things like they kind of hit young. They hit big, fast while they were young. Um, but yeah, it was interesting to hear that because like when they wanted to, right, even before the TV show, they were big enough. But like, it's hard to believe at the time, especially, and basically, unfortunately, at any point, that you can sell a bunch of tickets if you're a comedy act. If you're not like a big, huge stand up, if you're just like, we're a sketch group, like people don't want to hear that. So someone came up with the idea that, well, we'll have the middle for bands because people come to the bands anyway, and then they'll laugh and you can show videos and then they'll check out your TV show. And they were like, that's a terrible idea. Let's just do like big cities and we'll do like whatever good comedy venues there and we'll just do that. And they're like, no, no, no. This is going to make us a ton of money because the production company that is doing your show also produces, is tied to these bands, and it'll be great, and their audience is young, and that's who your audience is, and all this stuff. And they got talked into it and they shouldn't have done it because so here is the here's the bands. It was Flogging Molly, then Comedy from the Whitest Kids You Know, and then Dropkick Murphys. And just think about that audience. And do you think that that audience wants to after they've after they've just rocked out and had a good time with Flogging Molly? We have a couple songs that are pretty good, but they're just a good energy band, good fun pop punk band. And then they're like, "Cool, you've been warmed up by this band, and you're feeling great. And now comedy from people you may or may not know in a atmosphere that you definitely don't want to see comedy. And then check out your headliner, Dropkick Murphys. Because, like, there are probably people who went to a Dropkick concert that didn't want to see Flogging Molly because they just want to see Dropkick. Even if they would love it, they just want to see that. Nobody ever wants to see comedy unless they are a comedy. The headliners are comedians. If the headliners are comedians who are doing music, then maybe you'll see some comedy. Like Eugene Merman used to open and host shows, and people were just like, he's a fun, weird stand up. Why is this happening? But like, it's just such a strange idea that people always think is going to be a good idea, and it never ever is. It's never a good idea, and it always makes me laugh just to think about that, because they were like, yeah, it was the worst, man. We had people saying, hey, I used to like you guys until I saw you at the Dropkick show. And like that's what they heard from fans of theirs who were just like, yeah, I hated you because I was like, I don't know why you guys are here. Like you're funny or whatever, but like what are you doing? Um, even if it's like even if the headliner of the music group picked the people. There's a kind of famous Bobcat Goldthwait story of um, uh, Kurt Cobain really liked Bobcat Goldthwait's stand up. He really thought it was great. So he was like, Bobcat was like invited to go to a show, and he was like, "I'll fucking see Nirvana for free, hell yeah!" And so like they're hanging out backstage, and then Kurt's like, "Hey, why don't you do like 10 minutes or whatever? Do 15, do as many minutes as you want." And he's like, Bobcat's like, "Look, if people do know me, they know me as a weird actor. They don't know me as from my stand up. Your audience does not know who I am. They have not seen Police Academy 3 or whatever." He's like, I shouldn't do that. And he's like, no, it'll be great. And he's just like, I don't think I can tell Kurt Cobain that I'm not going to go do stand up at his show in LA. I guess I'll go do stand up. And the audience was just like, what is happening right now? They had no idea what was going on. They were not interested. And he was like, yeah, there are probably some bands I could open for or middle for, but not like Nirvana. That wasn't going to work. He did this. He said, now, if it had been Foo Fighters and it had been now, that works great. He's like, I could open for Foo Fighters. Like, I could do 10 shows and kill. Because that audience now is like older and would be psyched to see Bobcat Goldthwait. They're taking, like, he's like, people take their kids to see Foo Fighters. I do great there. It's just a very, I don't know, very funny thing. I always think about that. Um, the only audience that will accept something weird, unusual, or funny before a band that I have experience with is They Might Be Giants. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do great opening for They Might Be Giants, but you are going to do well because you're not going to do bad, I guess I should say, because that audience is trained to be nice. It's They Might Be Giants fans are like the kind of like they're the kind of nerds that are just like, well, the Johns must like them, so I don't know why I would. I don't know them, but like the Johns like them, so I'll hang out. So you can do like weird shit. You can like Jonathan Colton did like RE Your Brains uh, when he opened for They Might Be Giants, and like the audience was just like, there were people there that knew who Jonathan Colton was, but there were other people who were just like, ooh, this is a clever song. Like you could literally feel the audience going, oh, okay. And then he was just like, hey, I'm about to do a song because she also lives in New York, and it's not the right kind of song to do in front of an audience, but Susanna Vega is on this song, and she lives in New York, so she's gonna come on, and we're gonna sing this. And he goes, I know that this isn't right for the vibe, but I just want to do it, and whatever, they're letting me. And the audience is just like, yeah, all right, cool. This is a neat thing. But yeah, when he did and so he did the song from Portal. He did the Portal song as his closer because he's Jonathan Colton, so he's gonna do the Portal song as a closer. And like you just saw this moment, this like reaction from the audience who had been engaged and kind of interested just kind of have this moment where they were like, "Oh, this guy did the Portal song. This is the song." Like there was just like this moment where they're just like, "Oh wait, this is cool." And it just like always stuck with me as being like a very fun thing. Uh, but I've seen Him Up Giants like a bunch of times, and every time that they've had an opening act, the audience is just like very respectful, and then by the end of it, they're like, "Oh, this is cool." Um, uh, there was a band called Lost Car that opened, and it's John Flansburgh's wife is was in it, and it was a real weird band. Like the premise of the band was they like I think I've talked about this on the stream. The quote unquote like members of the band were in like a relationship, all three of them, and then they just sang weird songs, and then like eventually you could feel the audience recognize that like, oh wait, oh that's the lady that does when they need female vocals on They Might Be Giant songs. Oh, okay. Uh, and eventually they just realize I'm like, oh, this is like a performance piece. These are weirdos doing a weird performance thing. Oh, okay. Uh, but yeah, that is such a respectful, lovely audience. It's like I think the most polite audience I've ever seen for like main, quote unquote mainstream music audience. They're just like, well, we like They Might Be Giants, so like we're predisposed to like giving weirdness a shot, which I don't know, I just liked. I just always thought that was nice. Let me know in the chat if you want. What are some? What was your like? Oh, this audience rules. Do you have any like positive audience stories where like you were surprised that they were giving it a shot, like giving this whatever opening act there was? Because most of the time you're just like, oh, it's time for an opening act, and you're just like, yeah, all right, well, I guess I'll get a drink right now, or you're like, well, I'll stand here, because I've seen some very poor opening acts, like um, Dashboard Confessional opening for Weezer works really well if you are an early Weezer fan. But if you were a late Weezer fan and you just want to hear Say It Ain't So and you want to hear like maybe a couple new songs, but really you want to hear like a couple tunes from like you want to hear like the Green album, you probably don't necessarily super care about Dashboard. Uh, Also, Dashboard didn't do Jamie, which is a song that Dashboard Confessional had covered. He'd covered, which is a rarity, a B-side, an early track. But he had like done a cover album of Weezer, or he had been on a cover album of Weezer and done Jamie, and he didn't do it in the show. And I'm like, that's a missed opportunity. They're definitely not going to do that song, but the diehards would love it. But then also, maybe I'm just a diehard. Uh, Nerf Herder, when Nerf Herder opened for Weezer, uh, I mean, they have literally Nerf Herder has a song about the year that they opened for Weezer and how that changed their lives. So, like, they definitely were appreciated because it was just like, uh, they had a lot of songs that audience was just like, I don't know who this is. I will respect Nerf Herder very much because they never played the theme from Buffy at the two times I saw them. Neither time did they play the theme from Buffy because that is what they are known. That is what they are unfortunately the most known for, probably. Because hey, it was a paying gig and that rules, and it fucking is awesome that they did a theme song that resonated with people. But it's not. It's not a Nerf Herder song. It's a song they made for Buffy. It doesn't have the vibe. It's not Golf Shirt. It's not Mr. Spock. It's not like I don't know. It doesn't hit that way. It's not their kind of nerd rock because it like doesn't have lyrics. Um, it's not their version. It's not their song that is also called Life on Mars. That is not the song you're thinking of. All right, so we're going to be working on the arms here. We'll continue on that, but we got some progress done. We got the head done, we got the chest done, and now we're getting a raid done because this is going to be the end of the stream. So we are going to go ahead and raid somebody. So we're going to find somebody awesome out there doing stuff out there that I would like to. I just said out there a bunch. We are going to go give a raid, and we're going to find some cool people doing cool things that we can send some love to. So please come along on this raid. My next stream is going to be on Saturday. We are going to work on the arms here. Going to keep working on the arms of the Crossbone. Thank you very much for being here as we finished up the Lego. We worked on this. Um, we are gonna. We have not raided Xandra in a while, so we're gonna go give Xandra a raid because Xandra rules. So we're gonna go give her a raid. She's playing Crosscode. If you don't know Xandra, she's the best, but she also specifically you might know her because she did all my emotes, and she's also a fantastic streamer and a lovely person. So we're gonna go give Xandra a raid here. Let me go do this. She's playing Crosscode, which is a cool game that I've only seen bits and pieces of because we stream at the same time. So I haven't watched that outside of it. But please come along on this raid. She would love to see you, and it'll be a chill experience. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I will see you again in the future. All right, and we're going to. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.